Salutations! Welcome to Loving the Language of Literacy. My name is Sofia Lee, and today I'll be discussing the most frequently asked question of me and every other kid out there, and that is, what do you want to be when you grow up? Really quickly before I start the actual discussion, I'm pretty sure I'm getting sick, which is why I might sound a little bit odd, but this is my second time filming it. I wrote a blog post about it, and I just need to get my thoughts out there. So, sick or not, we're just gonna do this discussion. What do you want to be when you grow up? I'm pretty sure you as viewers, if you have watched any of my previous videos or follow my blog, you'll know that I want to be a professional author when I grow up. More specifically of young adult literature. And when I tell that to people, they're taken aback, and they don't always have the most positive of reactions towards my answer. There are reasons for this, and I completely accept them, and I think they're logical as well. Most often, it's because they think I'm quixotic, that I think that my dreams will come true, and so on and so forth, because obviously the publishing world is an extremely hard one to get into nowadays, and you have to have just really solid, really good writing, and it's all a game of luck and chance of whether you get the literature agent or whether you get a deal from the publisher. Nevertheless, just because a specific field is hard to get into does not mean that I shouldn't pursue it. And I believe that for not just writing, but for anything out there. Even if you say that you want to be a doctor or a lawyer or any other normal, regular job, so to speak, the job market is still a tough one to get into. And because of the whole unemployment rates and everything, there's still a hard chance of getting into those fields as well, even if they're commonplace ones. The second point they make is more towards my personality as Sofia Lee. And this is more for the people that actually know me as more of a student or someone that they've talked to, and not so much the literature side. For those teachers such as science and math, or basically any other subject that's not English, they wonder why I choose and why I have chosen, as of now, in this very moment in time, to go with the humanities area and focus, because I haven't really talked about this before in videos, but I love science. I'm extremely intrigued in the STEM areas, and it fits the more right side of my brain where I like being analytical and problem solving and just figuring out to the very minute scientific details of why things happen in life and in the world. In some ways, I think that I'm boxing myself in by saying I want to be a writer, and when you couple that reason with the first one about how it's pretty hard to get into, they have pretty negative reactions toward this. And more specifically, what happens when I say I want to be a professional author, and what happens to any kid out there when they say they want to be a specific thing, is that they make judgments. Judgments are a natural thing that humans make. It's part of life, it's part of society. But as teenagers, as adolescents, especially at this age when adults are pressing us to make decisions on what we're going to do with our lives, it's really unfair in my opinion, because we have so much more living left to do, even after we get out of our teen years, but especially in the teen years themselves. We're going to be encountering love and alcohol and drugs, peer pressure and society, and just life in general. And it isn't exactly fair for someone who is still being told when to go to sleep and when to clean their room, that we should be pressed to make a decision on something that will affect the rest of our lives. When people hear that I want to be an author, they make a judgment. This judgment has been that I am not interested in science or technology or engineering or math. And to be honest, I'm actually really good in those areas, and my science grade right now is higher than my English grade. Go figure on that one. This particular judgment is more focused on the bookish reader stereotype that people who like to read and write are not very good at math or science, which is of course completely inaccurate, and I just want to give those kind of people a piece of my mind, because this mind, it can do complex equations and genetics just as well as it can write full-length stories and analyze books. And I just find it so frustrating is really the word, that whenever a child or a kid or a teenager or whatever age they're at says they want to be something, there's automatically a judgment of where their entire life will go. Especially when you ask a little kid who's 8 years old what they want to be when they grow up. They have no idea what they want to be when they grow up. When I was 8, I wanted to be a professional artist. Now I will not draw to save my life. There's automatically a judgment, and it's one of the very first judgments that's really put on kids, and it can really set you back, as well as just put a damper on your dreams and what you want to be when you grow up. Sure, there'll be the occasional 5-year-old who says they want to be the president, or the one that says they want to be an astronaut, or a lawyer for that matter. And just because they say that does not mean that they're A, going to do it, that they're B, going to be interested in it, and C, that you should make any judgment on their future because of it. Now, what I want to bring up is where this discussion has come from. This all happened last Tuesday, and last Tuesday I was told by my science teacher, who was basically fed up with me complaining about her class, who told me that I was my school's nomination for this 1-week summer program at the local university that is surrounded around trying to get women into the STEM areas. It was an honor to be nominated, and I'm so happy that she did. I was basically elated. I was flattered. I thought this was just the greatest thing ever. It's highly competitive to get in, but just imagine if I did get in, if I did have this experience, and what it could do for my future career, either in STEM or the humanities or whatever I want to choose. When I came home and I told my parents about it, they were very apprehensive, and I didn't quite understand this at first. The next day, when they told me their reasoning for it, I both understood it and I was also taken aback quite a lot, because what they said was, A, it didn't seem like I was that into science. Wrong. B, it didn't seem like it was the direction I was heading in. And C, it seemed like I was going in more of a humanities focus. D, what my parents also brought up was the fact that it didn't seem like it would help me in where my future career was heading. And again, back to the point, they don't know what I'm doing for my future career, but also to the point of, who cares if one little summertime program that I'm applying for has to do with STEM when it looks like I'm going towards the humanities? Because all kids have been put into little summertime programs on cooking and horseback riding and surfing, and that does not mean that they're going to be professional chefs or horseback riders or surfers for that matter. So I just thought that was another unfair point in this whole matter. And I agree with their points from their perception as parents. Obviously, parents can't see inside their kids' heads. I have a great relationship with my parents. I'm not complaining about that at all. I'm just saying that they haven't obviously sat with me inside a classroom and watched me interact with students and the teacher and whatever we're learning. And with my snarky remarks, I've already refuted those points, because I have been interested in science since 5th grade, albeit when I walked into the classroom on the very first day of 5th grade, I hated it. But my 5th grade science teacher, thank you so much, Mr. Hillman, is the person who got me interested in science, and I went to the California Science Center summer programs, and I've been intrigued in biology and the most basic chemistry and physics that I've been taught already, and I love it. And that was just one example that rubbed me the wrong way, and it's the reason why I'm here today and why this is my 3rd time trying to get my point across in this discussion. The other day as well, 2 days ago, my school offered a lunchtime seminar, not really kind of thing, where they brought in an architect from the local university, the same one that offered the STEM program. Anyways, she had a whole PowerPoint presentation, and we got to eat lunch in the Home and Careers classroom just so we could hear her presentation, hear her speak about architecture. And when she asked the question, who of you have ever considered being an architect? Obviously, if they signed up for the seminar, they wanted to be an architect, or at least had some interest in architecture. And for me, I haven't had an interest in architecture since I was in 4th grade, when that was like the thing I wanted to do. I told you, what you want to be when you grow up changes a billion times. Anyways, moving on. I halfway raised my hand in the whole apprehensive way that kids do when they're not quite sure if they want that to be their answer or not. And Emma, my best friend, you've seen her in countless videos interrupting me. She basically did the playful punch thing the best friend does, and she's like, when were you ever interested in architecture? Even though it was only something in 4th grade I was interested in, that does not mean that I can't go to a simple lunchtime seminar on architecture. And just because it seems like I'm going in this humanities writing direction does not mean that I can't go to a STEM summer camp or to a seminar on architecture. Anyways, this brings me to my last point of this discussion and my question for you, and that is, what did you want to be when you grow up if you're a grown-up right now? Or what do you want to be when you grow up if you are my age as an adolescent? And I'm not sure how many other people have experienced this. Obviously more in the booktube community they would have, but I have a kind of special case that I'm extremely interested in reading and writing, and I'm a booktuber and I'm a blogger. and there's this whole humanity side of me, but there's also the part that's interested in STEM, and I sometimes feel like I have to choose between them, which is completely, as I've been trying to say the entire discussion, wrong. And I just want to know if you've had any experiences like this. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a good time. Keep calm and read on, and I'll be back next time with a more bookish video. Goodbye! Leave any suggestions or video requests in the comments below because I've been really struggling on inspiration lately and I want to know what you want to know /hear/see. So if it's a tag video or a non-bookish video or a bookish video discussion like this one, just tell me because I would love to do it.